Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man, and what we have here is a Sears Kenmore. It's the model 158.14301, and it just doesn't get any better than this if you're looking for a good sewing machine. This would be it. Of course, this one came in, and this little guy had issues, and let's get started, and I'll show you the issues and what we did to get it going.
It's not real common for these to lock up. They have to be sitting for an exceptionally long time, and generally in an adverse environment, like something with a lot of moisture or something. This one was locked up, and you could barely turn the wheel. It was just like in molasses. The wheel just wouldn't turn. My goodness, I was real discouraged when I first got it because, this being just one awesome little machine. Of course, it's going to be worth the effort, and I know that I will get it going, but it's just a matter of how long it takes. This is the 158-14301. And, of course, the first place you always suspect, is going to be in this area right here. And, of course, you get your trusty super penetrant. Anybody that makes a penetrating oil, not WD-40, not regular oil, penetrating oil, it'll say on it. Everybody makes it. It's all over the place. All sorts of folks make it. But first, what you want to do is you want to spray down here. I'll get this straight here in a second with my spray down here, underneath here. Get that sprayed in here like so. You want to spray an ample amount in there. And I spray that, make sure it's level, and I fill that up till it's absolutely level, floating in penetrating oil. I get that level. And then you start working the hand wheel back and forth. You work the hand wheel back and forth until you think your arm's going to fall off. Then you take a break and you do it again, and then maybe 30 minutes later you may have made some progress, and it'll actually get to where you can actually move it. Because when it's dry, that shaft goes all the way down inside this bearing, down to the gears. And if it's dry in there, you have to get that oil in there and work it down in. It's not a quick fix. And you have to oil everything else, of course, get everything else going. Anything that moves, slides, rotates. Keep away from the motor with the oil. Don't get it on your belts. Put it on the idler up there, of course, on either side of the pulley, not on the belt. You want the belt to stay dry. If you get on the belt, you've really goofed up. Now, up in the top, places up in the top that you need to oil for sure are going to be the following. Right there, that's an oil journal for sure. Right there's an oil journal. You want to get both ends of the shaft here. And back over here, and that's a tight fit right there. Sometimes you got to soak it in there. And of course, all your oil journals, everything that slides, rotates, or spins. And now we've got it completely, and you work it back and forth. And of course, you'll be turning it away from you when you work it. You can't turn it towards you, or else the clutch will release, and you won't get it to move. You have to turn it away from you, away from you, away from you. And you may get it to turn a quarter turn, half turn, full turn. And after a while, you may get it loose. Don't try to assist it with the motor and the belt, because it won't do it, and all you'll do is end up burning up your belts and or your motor. So you got to be patient. There is no screwdrivers. There's no wrenches. There's nothing involved on here except penetrating oil and your patience and hand strength. And the hand strength part is tough. I take my index finger, not index finger, but my long one. I lock it around the clutch so it doesn't break loose, and I grip the outside, and I turn it away from me. And it won't go towards you because it'll just slip. So you always have to go away from you. And after you've done that for about, 30 minutes, that's how long it took me to get this one loosened up, then you'll get it loosened up, and then you can put some power to it, and then next thing you know, you've claimed it, reclaimed it, you saved it, and hallelujah, it's ready to sew again. But I can't teach patience. I can teach a lot of stuff. Patience, you have to acquire by being challenged by things that'll make your head explode, and you just relax and keep persevering. Now you see, it will get up and go. This is what a Sears Kenmore is famous for. Once you get everything oiled up, all the bearings. Oh, and while I'm at it, this cam stack up here on each end of this cam stack. It's got a deal there, and on this end here and underneath. You want to oil that, penetrating oil it also. You want to make sure anything that you suspect could be dry, put some penetrating oil on it, put enough to soak it, and then have your rag ready to wipe it up. And next thing you know, you'll have a happy ending. Let's get this back together and get it sewing, and we'll show off what an awesome machine it is.
And now we come to the most fun part, when we get to show off what a great machine it is.
And now it's all put back together. We reconditioned the hook, reconditioned the needle plate, and the retainer ring. Made sure the hook shuttle area had some oil in it. We made sure the tension is set on 4. That's always 99.9% of the time going to be 3 to 5 is the range, but almost always 4 is where it's going to make its nicest stitch. And of course, we threaded it up by raising the presser foot up. You know, it's got a nice low shank on there, which is real popular. Raise the presser foot up, go through your threading procedure behind the spring, you know, click in there. Behind here, right to left to the take-up needle, take-up lever, not the needle, needle's coming up. Guide, 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 and of course the needle's in with the long groove facing you. You can always double check, make sure it's correct by running your thumbnail the length of the needle. You'll feel that groove. That tells you the flat side is on the back, which is where you want it to be. And then you get it all back together, and you step on the gas, and look out. You're sewing like crazy people. There we go. And it'll get up and go. These have the fractional horsepower motor like everybody touts. That's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But they've been around for, 50 years that I know of, longer than that. They're great little motors. And they seem to work real well. Surgers or whatever, but that's the Sears Kenmore. What was that? 158 14301. Now back to your announcer guy.
And that would be me. And the beauty of this is you spend the time, and when you get done, this is what you've got. An awesome machine. I worked on one earlier this week that was locked up. It was a Singer Simple. Locked up in the same way. Lady had it for about 10 years. She had never serviced it, never had it oiled. They came from the factory with no oil. These did not. When you bought these from Sears, they were serviced by someone. You took them home and they worked. And you didn't have to worry about them being dry from the factory. This little guy just sat for a long time, and maybe he was in some moisture, but anyhow, when you get done with this, you have something you can really be proud of. It's worth the effort. It's not a Singer Simple. It's a Sears Kenmore 158 14301. This is an awesome machine. If you get a chance to get one of these, you need to get one. If you find one at the thrift store, if you find one at the Salvation Army or at the estate sale, and they say, well, it's in this nice cabinet, we're going to have at least $150 for it. Just give them the money and load it up. And try not to giggle while you're doing it. Awesome little machine.